Breaking, the world on the edge of a big clash. Zelensky is preparing of a strike of revenge against Russia. A third statement by the president shocked Europe. Shocking revelation: China is secretly giving the Kremlin drones for attacks on Ukraine. The West is in shock. Beijing is fueling the war. And one more thing. Kim Jong Un promised Putin help in the war against Ukraine, calling it a brotherly duty. The world now sees the rise of an axis of evil: Moscow, Beijing, Pyongyang. How will Ukraine respond? Can Putin survive next strike? And what trap is Zelensky preparing for the Kremlin? With you, Zarislava Kolesnikova, this is Ukraine Today. All details right now. Putin will kill millions of soldiers, but he will never take Ukraine. Zelensky prepares a strike against Russia. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelenskyy arrived in Denmark and held a joint press conference with Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen. His speech turned into a true political manifesto, clear message to allies and direct warning to Putin. Ukraine will not trade its territories, and a response to Russia's strike is already in preparation. Zelensky stressed that Russia's night attack marked a new course of the Kremlin.
Such strikes, like the one on the night of September 3rd, have already become regular, several times a week. This is a clear signal. Russia rejects any attempts to end the war and wants to continue hostilities. We must assume that this is the main scenario for Russia at the moment.
He stressed that Ukraine will not give up, and it's already preparing a symmetrical response, and it will begin from the sky.
We talked about strengthening Ukraine's air defense because it directly saves lives. And together with partners from the Nordic countries and the Baltics, we must provide an additional system and protection on the eve of winter. Putin hopes that winter will kill our people where his troops cannot reach.
On the impossibility of trading territory, Zelensky firmly rejected all speculations about a possible exchange of Ukrainian land. He explained, for the world this may seem like just pieces of land, but for Ukrainians they are people's life. He also warned Putin that to conquer Donbass, Russia would have to kill millions of its soldiers.
Nobody trusts Putin. For some, it's just territory, but for us, it's life, history, the Constitution. Our people will return to the occupied lands. Exchanging territories is unrealistic. And if Putin goes further, he will have to put millions of his soldiers to seize Donbass. That's why no one will give him such gifts.
Zelensky showed that even 4 years of war have not given the Kremlin any strategic results. And moving forward, Moscow will face only even gather losses.
In 4 years, he has not managed to occupy even 30% of one region. If he goes further, it will take him years. But it is not just a question of time. He will have to deploy millions of soldiers.
In Denmark, Zelensky made it clear Ukraine will not retreat and will not agree to someone else's scenarios. A headline: new air defense system, increased pressure on Russia and the return of our people to their homeland. And for the Kremlin, the message is simple: no territories, no concessions, only defeat. Chinese trace in the war: Beijing secretly arms Russia with drones for strikes on Ukraine. China, which officially declares neutrality, is in fact playing a key role in Russia's war against Ukraine. According to the Telegraph, it is Chinese companies that supply Moscow with components for the production of kamikaze drones used to attack Ukrainian cities every day. The outlet notes that recently the intensity of Russian drone attacks has increased several times over.
A few days ago, Moscow launched about 600 drones in a single night, the second largest air attack since the start of the invasion in February 2022.
According to Ukrainian intelligence, by the end of the year, the Kremlin plans to produce 2 million FPV drones, 30,000 long-range UAVs, 30,000 decoy drones. An investigation revealed that from 2023 to 2024, Chinese companies supplied Russian firms with parts and materials worth at least 55 million euros, despite exciting sanctions.
About a quarter of this sum, €12.5 million, went to enterprises producing Iranian Shahed drones in the Special Economic Zone in Alabuga.
The list includes aircraft engines, microphones, metal alloys, camera lenses, fiberglass, blending materials and carbon fibers. Everything needed to produce drones. Journalists identified 97 Chinese supplies. Ukrainian forces regularly find Chinese-made components on downed Russia drones. One Ukrainian pilot stated directly,
We keep finding circuit boards and chips with Chinese markings. These are clearly components from China.
China avoids directly acknowledging military support for Moscow, hiding behind rhetoric about neutrality and blaming the West for escalation. But the fact remains, a record €240 billion trade turnover in 2024 and the systematic export of dual-use goods make China a real base for the Russian army. In July, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi directly told European leaders,
China cannot allow Russia to lose the war because it would give the U.S. the opportunity to focus on China.
The next day, Ukrainian Minister Andriy Sybiha shared on social media photos of components with Chinese marking taken from the Geran-2 drone that Russia had used to attack Ukraine. Chinese materials are sent directly to factories in Alabuga, where Russian manufactured Geran, Garpina and Gerbera drones, all built based on Iran designs.
In the first half of 2024, production of Garpaya drones exceeded 2,000 units, more than the total produced in previous years combined.
China is not just watching, it is systematically fueling the Kremlin war machine. And while official Beijing talks about peace, its companies are supplying Russia with the heart of the war, drone companies that are destroying Ukraine. Kim Jong Un swears to help Putin in the war against Ukraine. It is a brotherly duty. The world was shaken by a new statement from dictators Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong Un. The North Korean leaders promised support to the Kremlin in this war against Ukraine, explicitly calling it a brotherly duty. This became known after their meeting, where they discussed the preparation of North Korean military personnel in combat operations in the Kursk region, as well as further cooperation between the two totalitarian regimes. Putin confirmed that North Korean military personnel have already participated in the liberation of the Kursk region at Kim's initiative.
I would like to note that your soldiers fought bravely and heroically. I would like to strongly emphasize that we will never ever forget the profound sacrifices made by your brave armed forces and the dedicated families of your servicemen. On behalf of the entire Russian people, I want to sincerely thank you for your invaluable participation in the joint and crucial struggle against modern neo-Nazism. Please kindly convey my warmest words of heartfelt gratitude to all the good people of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
Kim Jong Un went even further, stating,
If Pyongyang can help Russia in any way, we will definitely do it. It is a brotherly duty.
Recall that the Ukrainian Defense Forces launched the Kursk operation in early August 2024, capturing around 100 statements. Ukrainian command explained that this move has preventive aimed at stopping a possible Russian advance from the north. However, by autumn, the Kremlin deployed foreign forces, including troops from North Korea. Now Putin and Kim have effectively officially acknowledged their cooperation. Putin issued another ultimatum to Europe demanding a halt to gas and oil supplies to Ukraine, claiming this is necessary to stop Ukrainian attacks on Russian territory.
Concerning civilian infrastructure, and especially during the winter period, we endured for a very long time while Ukrainian forces continuously struck our energy facilities. After that, we started to respond, and of course we are responding, well, let's say, seriously. That's true. And in response, the Ukrainians...
This alliance is raising alarm not only in Ukraine but also in the West, Donald Trump directly stated.
Chinese leader Xi Jinping, together with Kremlin head Vladimir Putin and North Korean leader Kim Jong Un, are preparing a conspiracy against the United States.
Moscow is relying on the so-called axis of dictators, Pyongyang and Beijing, is an attempt to compensate for the failure of this own army. That's all for today on Ukraine Today. If you want to stay ahead of the truth, like, comment and subscribe for more breaking stories and sharp analysis. And don't watch in silence, become a sponsor and join our community. Your support helps us keep exposing lies, tracking threats and defending Ukraine's voice. Stay strong, stay informed and stay with Ukraine.